Hi, I'm Mary Fish with Stampin' Pretty and StampinPretty.com. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and in today's video I'm going to share with you product details and tips for using the Stamparatus, which is the Stampin' Up! Stamp positioning tool. I really couldn't live without it anymore. I'm so spoiled by the precise placement and the great results. I'm also going to share with you a tip, a really simple tip on how you can adjust your sandwich so you can stamp right next to the hinge, and instead of getting slightly inconsistent results, going to those really crisp and solid images that we all want to get that first try. So stay tuned and thank you for joining me. Bye-bye. Let's do a quick review about the Stamparatus. For starters, it's 8 by 8 and 7/8 of an inch high, and it's open on two sides so that you can use larger cardstock. It comes with two magnets. I typically use just one, and at the advice of others, I have a little washi tape to make it easier to pick my magnet up. It has magnet storage underneath to keep the magnets apart. You don't want to have them touch, they can break. There are rulers and guidelines. So on the first level, I'm going to call the base of the sandwich floor, there are rulers and measurements, and then on the plates, and there are two plates, there are grid lines to help you with placement. The Stamparatus is compatible with both our clear mount red rubber, and you would use them on this first floor of the sandwich, as well as our clear photopolymer stamps, and they include a foam pad to make up for some of that difference between the photopolymer and the real red, the red rubber that has a cushion. So those are cool things, but here's what I love. It allows me to cut my cardstock and stamp images over and over, so you can mass produce and create multiples with ease. My favorite part is that you can get second chances. If you don't stamp something entirely perfectly the first time, you can just ink it back up again. It's perfectly in place because you haven't moved it, and you can go for that crisper, deeper image, or if you missed a spot, you can certainly fill that in. So that works really well with my Varied Vases stamp set. This was a stamp set that I got to help work with Stampin' Up! Creatively when I earned my $1 million in sales. This was part of that recognition, and this is the Varied Vases stamp set. There's a coordinating punch as well. But for images like these little stems or these little line images, sometimes with a block, I find I can't get quite as crisp of results or as reliable of results. So I really like using the Stamparatus for that reason. So I end up making fewer mistakes, save a little time and money, which I think we can all do. It also has Hinge Benefits. I call them Hinge Benefits because these plates, and there are two, one here and one up above, are hinged so that you can actually do two-step stamping. So I can stamp with the detailed dragonfly and then layer with the solid image. I can even flip this and have the sentiment properly placed and lay that down as well. So I think you can see how you can get perfect placement and keep reproducing as you want. So you can do 2, 3, and 4-step stamped images with those reversible plates. You can also do patterns because these are all in different increments. So imagine that this is a fun, bold sentiment, and I can just keep stamping it, and I'll have the perfect distance to stamp again, and so forth. So those are some really cool things. But one of the challenges for me is the fact that this plate, and because of the Hinge Benefits, is slightly higher here than it is here. So that means sometimes when I stamp, I may not get quite as consistent of results as I would like. This is only occurring with my photopolymer and using this foam pad. Let me show you what I mean with some early espresso and a very detailed Stampin' Up! Dragonfly stamp. Now the one thing the Stamparatus can't do is add ink where you didn't put it. So you want to make sure you ink up well, and then yes, you want to press nice and evenly. I know this one always needs some added love in the middle. Nice and evenly, and then lift. But you can see that, and sometimes the photopolymer stamps will stick a little, and that's normal, okay? You can just put it right back in that corner, okay? Perfect. So I could go ahead and do a couple different things. I could re-ink this and re-stamp it again, okay? Because I've got some missed areas, quite a bit here, and that is primarily due to that incline. So I can either do it again, or I can shoot for what I consider a little bit better results. And I kind of discovered by accident that my magnet sheets that I use to store my dies, they are from Stampin Storage. That is not the same as Stampin' Up. This is a 6x7, and that I tried them as one more layer of my sandwich. Much like the Big Shot, you kind of have to find your perfect sandwich. So I talked to Brett at Stampin Storage, and he has created a magnet, we're calling it the magnet pad, that is perfectly sized for the Stamparatus and gives a boost to your results. So you have less of this inconsistency. It doesn't mean it's 100% perfect every single time, but as long as you ink it up well, you should be fine. So two things happened when I added this. It's actually 7 5/8 inch square. It's like perfect for the Stamparatus. You get a little more height, so it's the plate is going to stamp a little closer here. There's a little bit of cushion to this, which I think may be, you know, I don't know the engineering, but it seems like it's helping. And then this has a magnetic property, so I can actually keep my magnet a little further out to keep things in place. Why do I love this? Because one option, of course, is to bring your cardstock out further and stamp further away from the hinge. But then you don't have, you know, kind of locked and loaded right here, this option to really keep your cardstock in place. And if you need to re-stamp, I want to just make sure it's perfectly in place. I know there's some great workarounds out there, but you know what? I just want to use that little corner. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to ink this up and show you the difference with this magnet pad that Brett has designed for after our discussion. I also want to note that I put the stamp just inside the grid line. There's about a 1/2 inch all the way around. The reason I do that is not because I'm concerned about stamping too close to the stamp or too close to the hinge. I want to be able to ink it up without getting ink on the hinge. So that's just a little tip for you. So I'm inking it up good. And again, Stamparatus can't make up for the fact that you aren't properly inking. So I'm going to give it a good push, but I am not cranking on it. And even when I crank on it in the other position, sometimes I still have to do it twice. I know this center area can be problematic, so I'm just giving it a good rub. But you can see I got a near perfect, actually I think it is perfect, but even if it's off by a bit, it's so easy to ink up and re-stamp this one. I think it's light years better. And then you can certainly take another color and do the solid. I want to show off the beauty of the Stamparatus. This is our new balmy blue, and this is our new stamp pad design. It's a gorgeous color. Wait till you see how pretty it is layered. So I'm just inking this up, making sure I get good coverage. Okay, and then I'm going to layer it down. So I got a little on the plate, but it's not going to touch, so it's going to be just fine. And then you'll see that is just amazing and beautiful to me. So here's the really good news. On June 8th, Brett is going to have some of these magnet pads made. I don't want to share the details just yet. I'll share them on my blog on June 8th. But it will be this perfectly sized magnet pad. It's affordable, and it's going to include free shipping. So if this is an issue that you've encountered, you'd like to boost your results, I highly recommend it. So please stop back to my blog on June 8th of 2018, and I should have more details on how to order it. I hope this was helpful for you, and it can make your Stamparatus experience even better. Thank you, and bye-bye.